Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Well, I see all the girls aren't here. They're laying out in the pasture. Guess they decided they'd rather lay in the wet grass than the mud, and I don't blame them. And yeah, it's mud. Been a weird year. May and June, a little over 3 inches of rain. July, we ended up over 5 inches of rain. And I'm just a couple days into August, and I already got 2 inches of rain for this month. Hey, we're going to talk about, I mentioned talking on last time, registrations and stuff. We're going to talk about what to look for when you're picking out your painted desert lambs. Yeah, a lot of people, you're just getting started. You're thinking, hey, I want to get started. I want to start raising painted desert sheep. So what are some of the things you could look for when you're going to be making that first purchase? Some of the things that you can find on the registration papers and you can see that can help you make that choice. So, but while we're talking about that, we're going to make some changes. All right. Here's the big boys. I got them out in the pasture here. And the little guys are way over there. There's two pastures there. There's actually two different pastures. I've had the big guys out here, but even though I put an extra fence in, and let's go over here a bit. I even threw a panel up here. There's a small area, common area where they're right next to the ewes, and yeah, there's a big corral panel and stuff. But I leave them out during the day, and then every night I lock them in. And the reason is I can't see what's going on at night. And my concern is I get a ewe that comes in season and she's out here on the fence. One of these guys, I don't know if they'll try to jump that fence and get with her. It's possible. I've heard that happen. I haven't had it here, but it has. So I always lock them in because that bothered me. So what we're going to do, while we're discussing what to look for in a registered lamb, we're going to change. And we're going to end up putting the two big guys in the far pen, and then the four little guys are going to come over to this pen. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to work through the pasture gates. I've set my gates up so I can move stuff back and forth without having to mix them together just by throwing in a bunch of gates. So we're going to get started on that, and then we're going to discuss what to look for. Well, let's start by getting the big guys in, huh? What do you think, Stoney? You want to move? Probably not. You like to stay around by the girls, but we're not going to. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Move it. Move it. You know where to go. Through the gate. Man, I'll tell you what. Look at my boots. I should have put on my rubber boots. My feet are going to be soaked when I get done with this. Foggy this morning. Couldn't hardly see anything. Yeah. Going to have wet boots before we're done. Let me lock this up. Then I'm going to open the other gate and turn them out in the pasture. Got these guys locked out, close the gate. They're locked out of this pen. Let's go get our little guys. Let me move some gates here, open this up. We'll see if we can get them to go through that little gate. All right, we got this gate open. Now we'll see if they're going to go through that. They always like to lay right here, so that may help, but they've never walked through that gate. So little sheep aren't the smartest things in the world. Speaking of little sheep, okay, them lambs you're thinking about buying. To me, there's two things to look at today. And the nice thing is, of course, if you want to make sure they're registered, if that's what you're looking for, ask to see copies of the papers if you can, and on both sides. And here's one of the reasons I'm thinking. I think there are two things to look at on painted desert sheep that can tell you the quality you're going to get. One, how you doing, bud? Yeah, you're still a little too friendly. One, Gold Star rams. Gold Star rams can be very important because that shows your genetics. How many Gold Star rams in there? And if you are buying from somebody, ask them about something. If you don't see it, ask. And I'm a perfect example. I think I'm a great example of this. I'll take Lomax over here. Now we discussed earlier, last video, Stoney and Lomax measured the same length and horn. Lomax is a year younger. So genetically, if he's growing horns better, he might be better as far as growing horns. He might be better to look at. But If I look at Stoney's papers, his sire is a Gold Star ram, and his sire is a Gold Star ram. But if I look at Lomax's papers, his sire is not Gold Star, and his grandsire is not Gold Star. And you're going to say, well, he doesn't have as many Gold Stars, so that's not as good. But in the case of Lomax, his sire died at a year old, never got a chance, and his grandsire was actually measured at 106 inches and was set to be recorded, but the owner sold him to the next guy, and the next guy didn't even bother to do the papers. He's never done the paperwork. So I get hooked in a sense because I'm talking to somebody about Gold Stars, and then I talk about Lomax here, and they say, well, I don't see a Gold Star there or a Gold Star there. Well, no, death of one, and in the other case, the other guy just didn't care. So if you don't see Gold Stars, ask. Ask for the reasons why. Come on, guys, we gotta move. But that's one thing to look at. Look at the Gold Star. You wanna know, that shows you your genetics. That gives you an idea of what you're getting, all right? Now, another thing, you'll find on papers now that we didn't have a while back ago when I started. Hang on just a second. Let me close this gate, and we'll see if they're gonna walk through that gate. Yep. Look at there, he's gonna start out. Let's see if he goes. Look at there, isn't that nice? Well, that problem was solved, wasn't it? Yeah, we did that okay. Close this quick. All right, got them closed in. They are moved over. We'll open the other gate in a minute. We got to get set up some fences over here for these guys. But let's get back to what I was talking about. Gold Star rams. All right, check your Gold Star rams. And not only on the ram side, a lot of people are saying, there's my ram, he's Gold Star, or he's got this Gold Star. Ask about the ewes. Check the other side. That can be just as important. As I mentioned before, I think genetics, yes, a ram makes up half the genetics of all the ewes he breeds, but each ewe is still bringing it. But I look at each lamb. When they discuss that, they're talking about your whole flock. They're saying, okay, you got 6 ewes and 1 ram. That ram is going to be 50% of the genetics of all your lambs. And I agree with that. But I look at it from each individual lamb. When I look at that lamb, I'm figuring, yeah, half are coming, but half that lamb's genetics are coming from that mother. What's that mother like? Because I can have a daughter of a Gold Star ram, or I can have a totally unregistered paint that I have known nothing about. And to me, those are totally different. Now, I'm not saying the one that has no background isn't any good. I'm not saying that. She'd be perfectly good. It's just you don't have a recorded history. So look at both sides, top and bottom. Look for the genetics there. The other thing to look for, and the thing, it's something new. We haven't done it before. They haven't done it. At least they hadn't done it when I was started. We now show percentages. All right, so we're showing percentages of pure blood. And that is, they'll go back 5 generations. And 5 generations will give you 32 individual sheep. All right, that's the way that works. You got 32 individual sheep. Each one in there is responsible for like 3-point-something% of your genetics. So what they do is they add all that up. Got a butterfly trying to get to you. They add up those 32, if there are 32, and that brings you to 100%. But let's say there's only 30. Well, you're going to be 6% short. You're going to have a sheep that's 95% foundation bred. Now, do you want that 100%, that 97%? That's nice. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of having the higher percentages. I look at mine and try to strive for that some if I can. But I'll tell you what, I could have a 100% foundation painted desert sheep on the papers, and there's not a Gold Star ram anywhere. Nothing. There's not one. So just because if somebody tells you, hey, my sheep is 93% or 90% or 96% or whatever it is, they tell you that's foundation. That's great. But again, does that mean you got great genetics? It means you have foundation genetics, but does it really mean you have great genetics? Not necessarily. Look at the papers. Ask them, can I see the papers? Because if you can see the papers, Not only do you get to see that 90-some% foundation, but you get to see, hey, there's one gold star, there's none, there's 5, there's 6. Put it together. So if you're hunting for your own, don't necessarily say, okay, great, this one's got a great percentage, it's 90-some%, that's really what I want. That doesn't tell you everything. And really, the gold star will probably tell you a lot more. Doesn't tell you everything though, because again, you got to ask. You know, if you're looking at mine, if you're looking at anything that comes out of Lomax for me, it may not look until he becomes gold star himself, and then he's still going to always have a couple blanks behind him that don't show up as gold star. Ask. I'd love everybody ask me. If you see mine and you wonder, hey, well, how come his sire isn't gold star? Thank you for asking me, because it allows me to let you know why, what happened, why isn't there. The genetics are there. He just never got a chance. And when you're dealing with Painted Desert, you're dealing with people that want to be shooters. And a lot of times when you're dealing with people who want to be shooters, they could care less about papers. So they're not going to be caring about gold star. They're going to tell you, he's got 40-inch horns. And that's great. That is great. But it's still not going to be on the papers to show you. All right, let me get these gates straightened out, because we now got to get these 2 rams from that pasture into this pasture and then into that pen. So let me move some gates around here. Move my gates back. Got them set this way now. Now, that'll let these guys come up. Boy, I'll tell you, that is a lousy looking pasture, ain't it? I really need to get in here with a mower, mow those weeds off. But it won't quit raining. I'm having a hard enough time mowing my lawn, let alone my pasture. This too. We might do that though. Get a shot here, maybe we'll mow this off. All right, we need to open a gate for those little guys over there. Let them go out to pasture. I got that gate open again. Wonder if we can get them to go out there, huh? See if they can figure out where that is. They could probably just let them go and find it on their own. But come on, guys. You want to come out? Huh? Yeah? There they go. Got to mow this grass too. I don't know what this grass is, but they don't eat it. So down the fence line, you can walk right down the fence. There you go. Nice little dirt spot trail, and just walk right down there. Oh, they found a feed. Hey, there's leftover feed. All right, we've moved them around. Uh-oh, lead guy's looking at the gate, thinking about it. They'll go out and find a whole new pasture, and they'll be very happy with that. All right, that's all I got, guys. So here's the deal. If you're looking for buying your first Painted Desert lambs, you're saying, I got the bug, I need to buy some. Ask questions. Ask to see registration. You know, through emails, Facebook, however your instant message, direct, texts, however you're contacting people. Ask to see the papers. Ask to look. That way you can look. What's the percentages? How many gold stars? What's on the top? What's on the bottom? Remember, the bottom is just as important as what's on top. As far as I'm concerned, it is anyway. So ask questions. Anybody doesn't want to answer your questions, find someone else. Simple as that, because I'll answer any questions you got, because I think a person's getting into it, they need to know what they're getting into. Hey, will I see you next week or the week after? Take care.